Mabuhay, I'm Oskar.
And I'm Dan.
And today we're in
Manila, Philippines!
We visited the Philippines for the first time last year in August of 2022. We had an amazing time and fell in love with the warm and friendly people and the beautiful nature of Cebu. But we never made it to the country's capital until recently when we had a stopover in Manila.
My brain is like, you are in Latin America, and I'm like, no, I am in Southeast Asia.
And our visit sure was an experience from beginning to end, for better and for worse.
Okay, what is going on?
Dan is trying to convince me that this is the better seat.
It is.
He's like, yeah, no, you should totally fit in this seat instead in the middle.
Tell me it's not better. There's 3 seats there, and those people will never disturb him to walk by.
It's fine. You can take the seat you want. It's fine. Like, if you want.
Meanwhile here, these people will get out over here.
A short nighttime flight later, we landed in Manila.
Mabuhay!
Mabuhay,
we're back in the Philippines.
We were honestly a bit scared about arriving at Manila Airport because we've heard so much trash talk about it. But so far, it's been really smooth. They didn't really have a lot of immigration booths, but they were very efficient with the ones they had. This is the coolest suitcase.
My bag is in quite the squeeze.
Oh my god, it's like Tetris.
There's the terminal, and here.
It's Oskar. We're so tired. Like, I'm about to just fall down on the ground and sleep right now.
Oh, it's our first minute out in Manila.
And it
is so hot. We're gonna try to walk into this mall because we can't be outside. So we're in this mall, and they even have Marks and Spencer. This is a very different feeling from our trip to Cebu already. What's that?
Hydrofast. We're definitely in a pretty rich part of Manila. This is really the way to survive in Southeast Asia. You walk from one mall into the next mall. And you only get about 10 seconds outside, which is the way to do it. We're heading down to a supermarket. Randomly.
That's exciting.
But it seems like it's more of a food court. There's like tons of restaurants. Choose your type of banana.
So cool. Every single thing is packed in plastic.
Yeah, I mean, terrible for the environment, but how beautiful is this presentation? This is giving Japanese grocery stores a run for their money. I love this presentation of the green beans. It looks like a giant brain.
Also, we're obsessed with these tiny limes. Look, Swedish style balls.
Oh my god. They have bulgogi.
Love. Oh look, they have all these actually Filipino type of products.
But the prices are insane. Like, this is much more than it would be in Sweden or anywhere else in the Western region. One thing I just have to point out is that in the grocery store, there were so many workers just standing around, like no one really had anything to do. And it's just really crazy how much of a surplus of labor or of people there is here in the Philippines, which is why there are so many Filipinos who work abroad, because there's just not enough jobs here in the Philippines. We read this article a while back that essentially compared Thailand and the Philippines and their population growth and talked about how Thailand is in a much better economical position right now than the Philippines, largely just because of the promotion of contraceptives. Whereas here in the Philippines, which is a largely Catholic country because of Spanish colonization, the public has generally been more opposed to contraception. So for that reason, the population growth has been a lot bigger here.
I'm just desperate to go to the toilet and get out of the heat. It's this feeling like, just need to go. And then I'm like, where's the button to cross the street? It's hidden here.
There it is. Okay.
I'm having a breakdown.
So, at a vegan restaurant for lunch and buka juice. It's just coconut water. I thought they were gonna do something with it. It was a bit awkward to record in there because it was just us and 2 other people. So yeah, hence we didn't really talk about the food. But we tried a local dish, adobo, that we haven't tried before.
It felt so lame for our little Filipino food we had last time we were here because we were mainly in Maguao and there wasn't really much vegan Filipino food there. So we're so happy we could finally try it because the adobo was amazing.
It's pretty crazy how much it varies here in Southeast Asia, how vegan friendly, like naturally the food is. Here in the Philippines, it's very meat heavy, like every single dish. And so finding, you know, vegan renditions of it can be a little tricky, but now we managed to find some here.
This bus is literally moving as people are getting on.
What?
After a quick stop back at the hotel, we decided to visit a recommendation from some of you guys. A food market called Good Food Sundays. A decision that ended up leading to one of the highlights of our Manila stopover. We'll show you why in a second.
This market was a recommendation by one of you guys, and supposedly there should be a lot of vegan options there, which is great. And to get there, we are also using one of the recommendations we got from you guys, which is that we should take Grabs everywhere and not even bother with public transport. Actually, the #1 recommendation we got from Manila from you guys was don't, which I think is pretty sad.
Alright.
We made it to the market. It looks a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, but maybe it's a more intimate local
At least it's in the shade.
Yeah. This is like tiny.
Not this being like our excursion of the day, and it's like 5 stands. Look at this. Wait. I think we missed it.
It's
Oh, they're making it. They're making it
right now.
What? You didn't tell me this was some like vegan heaven.
Did you see that stand too?
Well,
That stand is
everything
vegan as well.
It's vegan there too.
I didn't know everything was. I knew there was going to be a lot of them, but
You didn't tell me that. I love this. This is what's so cool about the Philippines. A vegan market is something you'd expect in Bali, not a Southeast Asian capital. All right, we are about to dig in. To be honest, eating fried food in weather this hot is like kind of a nightmare, but this looks super good. It's so funny, there's a cooler next to us. It's not cold. I don't know why we're so shocked by the temperature. We got one ube empanada, one classic, which is like mixed vegetables and some soy meat, and one vegan chicken one. So I'm breaking them all up to show you guys. Wow, it's really good. This is not what I expected from Manila. I think this place really shows the difference in social classes in Manila and in the Philippines in general, because this place is kind of bougie. Ice cream time, and last year our food was eggplant, our new discovery. This year our food is corn. It's cold! And this is corn ice cream. Everything is good with corn.
I got a more beautiful thing.
you like it? Mm-hmm. I'm very intrigued. It's not yellow. I thought it was going to be yellow in color.
That's vanilla.
Oh, can I try the corn? The vanilla's good though. I mean, corn is really sweet, so it goes well with dessert. Like, I don't know why it's not more commonly used in dessert.
So we're just sitting here in this market Googling random things. One thing we realized is that Manila proper is the most densely populated city, what?
In
Just
the world.
city, yeah, in the whole world.
Manila is the most densely populated city proper in the world. We're trying to figure out exactly what that
city
means.
proper?
Yeah. That was so crazy. We were just about to leave this place. I was just gonna place the order for the Grab, and this woman comes up to us and she's like, "Hi, my name is Lo. I would like to invite you to our art therapy session. It's for free. Like, just come upstairs and join us." So we're checking it out.
For the next hour, we got to share some of our toughest struggles and deepest fears with a group of complete strangers. And it was one of the most beautiful and cathartic experiences we've had in a long time. One of the participants was an ex-convict who was going through a rehabilitation program, and we got to speak with locals from all walks of life.
Okay, 100 countries later, I don't know how many years of full-time travel at this point, and that is the first time something like that has ever happened for us. I mean, we love those types of things, and the fact it happened on our first day out in Manila is insane.
What an amazing experience that was, and it was so impromptu, so unexpected, and I think that speaks a lot to just Filipino culture, but also, I mean, so many people here speak English, which makes everything a lot more accessible to us, of course, as tourists. But then secondly, Filipino culture is just so open and kind and warm, and you know, everyone is just like invited everywhere, I feel, which is just amazing. Good morning, guys. It's another day in Manila. We're in a different part of the city today.
I feel like you just have to embrace the heat. Like, we have not traveled in Southeast Asia for 6 months, and that is very noticeable. Why are we walking in the middle of the road, Oscar?
So we have two options. Squeeze through there,
Here,
or just the middle of the street.
Today is our real touristing day. Gonna go out and explore as much as we can of old Manila and the surrounding areas.
Yeah, the sign, the zebra crossings don't really mean much here.
That was so interesting. So the Philippines obviously has a bit of a crisis with lack of jobs, given the huge population. That huge crowd we just walked by was some sort of makeshift work fair, because there were a bunch of people holding different signs like urgent, need shipping person, this or that. So maybe that's like a hot spot where people come. It's super interesting. But we just entered Rizal Park, and I hope they have a swimming pool.
Unexpected Chinese garden here in the park, so we're checking it out. It's free. But we've now made it to the old walled city, Intramuros, which is from the Spanish colonial times. But we're trying to figure out where to enter because there's just like another wall outside of the old wall that's kind of blocking the access.
Right here.
Perfect.
Okay, you don't even want to see here and down.
This is the reality of being a tourist in Manila. Let's not even speak about it.
To be honest, this kind of reminds us of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. That's a very similar vibe, except the people are very different. Just trying to imagine what type of tree was growing here before they cut it down.
That's insane.
Also, I wish we were wherever all these AC units lead. When I was younger, I never used to sweat on my face at all. Like, my body could be drenched, but my face was completely dry. It's changed a bit as we got older, but when I took Accutane for the second time from 2021 to 2022, it was like some button was switched on, and suddenly I can now be like not sweating anywhere but my face. It's like somebody just activated and my face is now the worst part, which is so inconvenient. I just cannot wrap my mind around what this place is, because my brain is like, you are in Latin America, and I'm like, no, I am in Southeast Asia.
We went into Starbucks for a second just to take shelter from the heat, but it's not even cold in here. So there's no respite whatsoever. On our phone it says it feels like 42 degrees outside, so it's not kidding around. We usually get everything light ice. Today we ordered extra ice.
All right, We are going back outside after 20 minutes of cooling down, although that's probably the warmest indoor cafe we've ever been to, which I guess is good because the contrast isn't too big when you go outside.
Next up, Fort Santiago, the main stronghold of the Spanish when the Philippines were part of Spain.
So, Spanish colonization of the Philippines started in the 1500s, and they were here for almost 250 years until the Americans liberated the Philippines. But it quickly got pretty clear that the Americans did not have the Filipino people's best interest at heart. And then the Japanese were here for a few years during World War II, but the longest lasting influence on the Philippines is of course the Spanish influence. And it's really quite insane because between 1/4 and 1/3 of all words in Tagalog, the national language of the Philippines, are loan words from Spanish. Up to 1/3. And the table I was sitting at to record that history lesson was covered in like those fire ants, or like the golden ants. So I was very paranoid that I was gonna get bitten the whole time.
It's terrifying to walk here in Fort Santiago because there's mango trees all above us. And we just see all these mangoes that have fallen down. Don't want to hit you in the head.
So we originally wanted to walk across the river and into Chinatown, the Manila Chinatown, which is the oldest Chinatown in the world, allegedly. But it's just too hot. Like, we can't do it. And I hate to go on and on about the heat. I can literally feel my organs, like there's pain in my chest, and I feel like they're not working as they should. It's kind of scary. Yeah, so we're gonna go back to the hotel now and try to decompress a little bit, I think. This is what doing laundry on the road looks like.
All right, today it's time to head onward. We just spent the day walking around Landmark Mall because we were told they had cheap stuff. To be honest, not a lot of great stuff and not super cheap. Not gonna lie, we're excited to fly somewhere a little bit colder now.
And we're excited to see if the departures experience at Manila Airport is as bad as they say. As you saw, our arrival was a lot smoother than we would have thought. So maybe we'll be surprised again. Well, first up, there's a pretty long line to even get into the airport. So that's the first hurdle. Okay, security, passport control, and check-in all went pretty smooth, I'd say. It's so hot inside, like there's no AC whatsoever.
Yeah, there is.
I feel like there isn't. We took refuge in the lounge, which was thankfully quite a bit cooler, so we weren't sweating the whole time.
And on that note, guys, our short stopover in Manila was over. Thank you for watching the whole video, and stay tuned for our next one, which will be a really, really exciting adventure. And until you hear from us again in that video, as always, see you around the world. I'm Oskar.
And I'm Dan.
And we're on a mission to see as much of the world as possible during our youth.
So far, we've traveled to 100 countries to show that anyone can travel off the beaten path regardless of who they are.
However, we realized that constantly chasing new countries isn't necessarily the most fulfilling way to live life. So now we're finding a balance by exploring more of our favorite countries and seeing new places at a more sustainable pace.
We'd love for you to come along for the ride. See you around the world.